Moving on to game week 22, we start off with a 12:30 kickoff heading over to Old Trafford, where Manchester United host Manchester City. A Manchester derby is always a match to watch, especially at a 12:30 kickoff. But this one might be a little bit different. Man United are on a really I say they're on a downward spiral. They've been on a downward spiral for the last 10 years. But they're without a manager. There's rumours of Carrick might be in before the Man City game, which is a very strange appointment. They're also coming off a loss in the FA Cup against Brighton. Danny Welbeck going back to haunt him, and the 3 games without a win in the Premier League. The same for Manchester City, also 3 games without a win, 3 draws with both sides in the last 3 games. But Man City do sit in second and are coming off a 10-1 win against Exeter. It is at Old Trafford. Obviously, it's a tough place to go. I say it's a tough place to go. Is it really? Brighton just won there. Man City are winning this the whole way, aren't they? They'll be way too good for Man United, even with their defensive problems. The only bright side of United at the minute is Mbuemo's back for this game. He's come back. I think Ahmad might be as well. But I think Man City are going to win this. Man City are going to batter him. They're either going to batter him, or it's going to be one of them games where it's an early kickoff. The underdog will win, so United. But I can't see that happening. I'm going to be generous and give United a goal. 4-1 Man City. Moving on to the first 3 o'clock kickoff of the weekend, we head over to Stamford Bridge, where Chelsea host high-flying Brentford. Where do I even start with Brentford? Keith Andrews, round of applause to you, my friend. 5th in the Premier League. Honestly, at the start of the season, I'm pretty sure Brentford were a lot of people's predictions to fighting relegation, and we're past Christmas now. We're even past, halfway through January to be fact, and they are 5th in the Premier League. So, fair play to Brentford. Unbeaten in the last 5, drew on 1-4. That's the form that's got them into 5th. The position where Chelsea have been for a large amount of this season, dropped all the way down to 8th now, though. Haven't won in the last 5. Lost 2, drew 3. But they do have a new gaffer now. They had a good result in the FA Cup. This is a really tough one to predict because they have been really poor, Chelsea. Apart from Man City, they played well against Man City a couple of weeks ago in the second half, especially when they drew. But I can't knock Brentford. Some of the results they've had. Ooh, this is a tough one. I'm leaning towards a draw. My mind's telling me go with a draw, and that's what I'm going to go with. 0-0, 1-1, 0-0, 1-1. I'm going to go with a 1-1. I think Thiago's on fire for Brentford at the minute. It's 5 goals in his last 2 games for him. 1-1. Moving on to the next 3 o'clock kickoff, we head over to Elland Road, where Leeds host, again, another side that I think is high-flying, Fulham. This should be quite an entertaining game. Leeds are in some sort of decent form as well as Fulham. But Leeds are coming off a 4-3 loss to Newcastle. I think it was Harvey Barnes that scored a last-minute winner. One heck of a game. A really good game for the neutral to watch. But all Leeds need do now, I say this every week with Leeds, if they can just get results to get away from that bottom 3, that's their season sorted. It's not looking like they're going to get relegated anytime soon anyway. But they have drawn a lot of games. I think they've drew 7, only won 5, which is, they're getting results, which is fair enough. Obviously, Calvert-Lewin's on fire, so they've got a goal scorer there. Fulham, on the other hand, have climbed all the way up to 9th. They have won 3, drew 2 in the last 5, so they're unbeaten in 5. Fulham again, really, really good side. Coming off a good win against Chelsea, 2-1. Harry Wilson is absolutely on fire at the minute for Fulham. This is quite a tough one to predict. Like I say, Leeds is a really tough place to go as well. Fulham have been phenomenal, haven't they? They've been really good. I'm going to go with another draw, but it's going to be a really, really good draw, and I'm going to go with a 2-2. Moving on to my banker of the weekend, we head over to Anfield, where Liverpool host Burnley. Liverpool do still sit in 4th. They are managing to drag that out with results. In the last 5, they drew 3. They've drawn the last 3 games. The last draw was a 0-0 to Arsenal. And Might be one of the worst games of football I've watched in a while. It was for two sides so high a caliber, drawing 0-0. There weren't even many shots on target. I think Conor Bradley hit the bar once. But speaking of Conor Bradley, he's now injured for the season, so that means Frimpong will have to take that right back position. They should beat Burnley. They really should beat Burnley. Burnley are pretty much relegated. I know they're coming off a draw with United 2-2. Played really well against United, what I must say. But they won't beat Liverpool. Not at Anfield. This is my banker of the weekend, and my prediction for this will be a solid 2-0 Liverpool. Moving on to the next 3 o'clock kickoff, we head over to the Stadium of Light, where Sunderland host Crystal Palace. This is a game where both sides are desperate for a win. Both sides haven't won in the last 5. Sunderland have only lost one in the last 5, but they've drawn 4. Both sides slowly dipping down the table, but I think if you said to a Sunderland fan at the start of the season, would they take mid-table, they'd snap your hand off for it, obviously. But they may have been drawing games, but they've drawn games to Man City, Brighton, Leeds and Tottenham. Hard games. But I'd probably say, well, I'll say it, they lost 3-0 to Brentford, but Brentford are flying at the minute, sat in 5th, so I can't say that's a bad loss. Crystal Palace, on the other hand, are coming off a draw against Villa 0-0. They have lost 3 and drew 2 in the last 5, which for them is... And they also, let's not overshadow them losing to Macclesfield in the FA Cup. Quite a strong side as well, bear in mind. They have lost to Macclesfield in the Cup, so they're out. Macclesfield are through. So they really need to bounce back. Will they, though? At Sunderland, the Stadium of Light's a really tough place to go, like I say every week. Their fans in that ground are their 12th man. I don't think they'll win here. I think Sunderland will nick it, and I'm going to go with a 1-0 Sunderland. Moving on to the next 3 o'clock kickoff, we head over to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where Spurs welcome West Ham United. It's a London derby, so it's quite a big game, but both sides are really, really poor this season. West Ham especially struggled against QPR side in the FA Cup. I know they didn't have that much of a strong side out, but they should be beating a side like QPR. Coming off 2 losses, one against Wolves, one against Forest, 2 games that if they won, they would have been a bit safer than they are now. Nuno is under threat as well. So is Thomas Frank. Spurs sitting 14th. It's not looking great for Thomas Frank or Spurs either. It's a tough one to predict as well. I think it's both sides out of form. West Ham are desperate for a win. I don't think they'll beat Spurs though, not at Spurs. I think I'm going to go for Spurs win, but just, and I'm going to go with a 2-1 to Spurs. Moving on to the 5:30 kickoff, we head over to the City ground where Nottingham Forest welcome leaders Arsenal. Nottingham Forest in a relegation scrap of their own, coming off a really, really big win against West Ham, where if they didn't win that, if they had lost that game, they would have been dragged straight back in to an even worse relegation battle than they're already in. But the fact they win it, they've left a big gap between them and West Ham now, which is a huge win for them. Also got knocked out by Wrexham in the FA Cup. Let's not jump over that. It's a poor result for Forest themselves. But Arsenal, of course, sitting first, 6 points above Man City. Can't really afford to drop any more points. Coming off a 0-0 with Liverpool, as I said in the Liverpool preview, it was probably one of the worst football matches I've seen in a long time. It was very, very boring. But I think Arsenal have got this. I know they're playing against a Sean Dyche side, but Forest really don't look great. And Arsenal can't afford to drop points, and I don't think they'll drop points here. And I'm going for a 2-0 Arsenal. On to the first game on Sunday, we head over to the Molineux where Wolves welcome Newcastle United. Newcastle United have picked up some form of late, winning the last 3, climbing all the way up to 6th, probably a position where they should be fighting for Europe. Newcastle fans will be very happy despite their injury record they've had in the last 3 or 4 weeks. But Wolves themselves have picked up a bit of form. Unbeaten in the last 3, winning 1, drawing 2, coming off a draw with Everton, beating West Ham and drawing to Man United. So they've started the season off, they've started the year off really well. Also beating Shrewsbury in the FA Cup as well, battering them, shall I say, Strand Larsen hat-trick. So have they got a little bit of life still in there? Or the Wolves, whatever they're doing, wolving. Nah, I think Newcastle will beat these. I really do. Wolves aren't great. They've won 2 all year now, haven't they? They beat Shrewsbury. Um, they've got a little bit of fight left in them, but I think that's not enough for this Newcastle side. Newcastle have started playing well recently. Obviously, they had that brilliant game against Newcastle, winning 4-3. Oh, nah. They'll batter Wolves. They should batter Wolves. I think they will batter Wolves. I am going with a 3-0 to Newcastle. On to the second game on Sunday, we head over to Villa Park, where Aston Villa welcome Everton. Aston Villa, of course, still sitting third on the same points as Man City, 6 points behind Arsenal, and honestly, you've got to be calling them title contenders. If you're calling Man City title contenders, Villa have got to be called title contenders on the same points as Man City, 6 points behind Arsenal. A very winnable fixture here as well against Everton. Everton have had a little bit of a drop off, obviously losing to Brentford and drawing to Wolves. Losing to Brentford at this moment in time, it's going to happen. But drawing to Wolves, you should be winning that. I know they went down to 10 men as well, but I think they should be available for this game because they missed the FA Cup game. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I think Villa should be winning this. Everton's just bog standard mid-table side at the minute, currently sat in 12th. Villa are a very good side at Villa Park as well. A very tough side to beat at Villa Park, and I don't think Everton are capable of that at this moment in time. So I'm going to go with if Aston Villa win, and I'm going to go with a 2-0 Aston Villa. On to the final match of the weekend. It's the Monday Night Football. We head over to the American Express Stadium where Brighton welcome Bournemouth. Brighton have somewhat dipped themselves as of results anyway, only winning 1 in the last 5, but coming off a really, really good draw against Man City. I thought they played really well against Man City, especially in that second half. I know obviously Man City were lacking defensively, but they don't look too bad, Brighton. But Bournemouth on the other hand are coming off finally won a game. It's been a long time coming for Bournemouth. They played okay in some matches, but still not managed to win. They're coming off a nice 3-2 win against Tottenham. Semenyo getting the winning goal in that match, and obviously making it his farewell goal as he is signed now for Man City. How are Bournemouth going to cope now, though? They've lost their best player. It's the perfect opportunity to find that out, but Brighton are a really good side, especially at home. But I do think this has got a draw written all over it. I really do. Both sides are in somewhat of not decent form, and I think I can't see either side winning. I really can't. 1-1.